Welcome to Finkelstein Memorial Library's Spring Craft Programs, and today we are going to be doing Teen Time Crafters Hot Cocoa Bombs. That's right, we're making hot cocoa bombs. I have never ever done this before, but I've watched a bunch of TikTok videos and hopefully everything will go okay. So you are going to need for this the hot cocoa bomb mold that we give you in your kit. You're going to be using all of these little chocolate melting wafers that we give you in your kit. You'll need one per bomb envelope of hot cocoa mix, also in your kit. Some mini marshmallows in your kit. And then you will have some white chocolate melting wafers that are contrasting color that we're going to be using to decorate our bombs with. I am all out of white, so I'm using pink today. You will also need, in addition to all of these, one ceramic paper plate, one ceramic plate to heat up in the microwave or over a gas stove, and a spoon. Alright, so we're going to go and get started by slowly heating up our chocolate. We definitely don't want to do our white chocolate at this time, just the dark chocolate, and I'm going to be microwaving it. You can also melt this over a double boiler on your stove. If you don't have a double boiler, and who does, all you have to do is boil some water in a pan, take a bowl, nest it on top of the hot boiling water, put your chocolate into that bowl, and stir it very slowly while it melts. If you were doing the microwave method, put it in a nice microwave safe bowl or measuring cup, and you're going to very slowly melt this in increments of like 15 to 20 seconds at a time, stirring between each time until it is melted. In fact, don't wait until it's all the way melted because you might overheat it and your chocolate will seize. You don't want to do that. You can go ahead and melt it until it's almost all the way melted. Take your spoon and stir it, and they should all break apart after a few trips in the microwave. I'm going to go take care of that now, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I have the chocolate, and just in the time it took me to walk over here, most of it has melted down. You'll see a few lumps in there. I'm going to give it a quick stir. You can see that? And all of those lumps are pretty much gone now. That took 5 or 6 trips through the microwave at 15 seconds a piece. And if you have any lumps, just keep stirring. They will melt. Great. Okay. So we're going to do 2 coats of chocolate. We're going to start off with just one. And for this one, we're going to coat all of the little cavities in this. By the way, these are brand new, so you'll probably want to wash this with hot soapy water before you get started making your hot cocoa bombs. Also make sure it is completely dry in the little cavities because the chocolate won't set right if there's water mixed in with it. Okay. I'm going to put this up forward so you can see. Great. All right. So I'm going to pour chocolate into each one of these little cavities. I'm going to work quickly because this actually hardens pretty quick. In fact, we're only going to refrigerate this to set it for about 10 minutes when we're done with this. Okay. Alrighty. Now, like I said, I have never done this before. The videos that I watched said about a teaspoon in each cavity. We'll see. I've got a little bit more than that in there. Alright. So now we're going to use the back of a spoon to bring all of that chocolate up and coat it right up to the edge in here. bit too much. Okay. All right, so do that for all 6 cavities. So this will make 3 hot cocoa bombs. That's why you should have 3 packets of hot cocoa in each of your kits. Right. Do your best around the edges to get it stick. Don't worry, we're going to be putting a second coating on all of the edges. Great. Almost there. Okay, so I've got a bit too much chocolate in some of these. I'm just going to scoop it out very, very gently. And we'll reuse that for the second coat. Alrighty. Now, once you are satisfied with the chocolate coating, you're going to go ahead and pop these into your refrigerator for 10 minutes. And that should give it enough time to set up so that we can put our second coating of chocolate on. Alright. Alright, give it a quick once over. I just saw some red poking through. You shouldn't see any red poking through the sides or edges. I'm going to hold that up and look around. It looks okay. Alright, so we're going to put this in the fridge and I'll be back in 10 minutes. Alright, so we are back. Our chocolate has gone through 1 round in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes, and you can see it's already nice and solid. So we're going to go ahead. You're going to need to heat up your chocolate again. This time it should only take about 15 seconds, maybe a whole 30 seconds to make it liquid again. And don't worry if you don't have a whole lot of chocolate left. You shouldn't really. This is only going on the edges of our molds, so you don't need a whole lot. Alright, I'm going to dip the back of the spoon in this chocolate, and I'm going to run it around the edges, because we want to make sure that our edges are going to be nice and sturdy so that when we go to unmold them, they do not break. And this does not go quite as fast as the first round, even though we're using less. This gets a little bit tricky. And don't worry that if the inside isn't nice and smooth, that's perfectly fine. Okay, you're just getting it all around the edges. Okay, and you should definitely not see any of the red poking through this time around. If you do, make sure you cover it all up this time. right, we are on our last one, almost finished. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pop that back into the refrigerator for another 10 minutes. You might be tempted to use the freezer, but don't, it can cause your chocolate to crack. Okay, see you in 10 minutes. We're back. We have now set this in the fridge for an additional 10 minutes, and we are ready to unmold. All right, so this is going to be a pretty delicate process. And we're going to do our best not to break these tiny, fragile little shells. Okay, so you want to be as gentle as possible. I would tug at the little silicone, and it looks like it is pulling away, which is great. Okay. Okay, so just keep gently tugging until you have the sides loosened. And then we're going to try popping them out. Okay, let's try that. I'm going to turn this upside down because gravity is our friend. Okay. Ah, excellent. Okay, so then we slowly peel away the silicone, and we should get a nice shiny chocolate hollow shell. All right. Do this 5 more times, and we will have all the pieces that we need for the next step, which is going to be putting our shells together. We are going to put our shells together, and we're going to work very quickly. Before you start the step, go ahead and microwave a ceramic plate. Your time may vary. I put mine in for about a minute, and I've turned my little mold upside down to make a nice resting point for this. And we're going to grab one of our halves of the chocolate shell, and you should see the edges start to melt right on the plate. So we're going to do that for at least 2 of them, and we're going to work as quickly as possible. Great. And we're not going to put all of them on there and leave them, because then they will melt too much, and we do not want that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and spoon in some of that cocoa powder. Remember, yours is pre-measured. Okay. And I'm going to tuck in, let's make a little ridge in here. I'm going to tuck in a couple of those mini marshmallows. Okay, and I'm going to grab 2 more of our shells, place them on the plate, and let those edges melt a little bit. And then we're going to put those down right on top have our other shell. Try to line them up so that they're as even as possible. Now you might want to have some extra melted chocolate on hand just to put over that seam if you need to. Okay. Okay. We are going to go let those dry for a tiny little bit. And when we come back, we are going to decorate them. So, in your little kits, all of you will have a real decorator bag. I am all out, so I had to use a sandwich bag, but don't worry, it still works. So you're going to put your white icing, which you have your chocolate, which you have melted very slowly, either over a double boiler or in the microwave. Once it's all melted, put it into your bag. You're going to squeeze all of the chocolate down to the tip. Take a pair of scissors, and you're going to very carefully snip the smallest hole possibly that you can. Okay. And now you can decorate any way you want. So I am going to just go right over the top. And I'm just doing zigzags right back and forth. Okay. And we are done. So I'm going to push the plate towards you. So hopefully you can see. All right. Excellent. So that concludes our hot cocoa bomb making, and I hope you enjoyed this session. It was an educational experience for me. If I were going to do this again, and I think I will because I did have fun, one word of advice that I will follow next time is that when I am putting the chocolate into the mold, be sure you don't get any chocolate up and on that rim. If you do get it on there, wipe it off immediately before it gets a chance to harden. I figured I would just pick it off later to make it look pretty, but it's so fragile and delicate that once it's there, it's stuck there. So I would make sure so you don't get this ridge. I'm going to hold this up, see how that's poking out on the side. You want to make sure you nip that in the bud. Okay, moment of truth. We are going to dunk one of our little hot cocoa bombs into some scalding hot milk. And milk is already hot. It's bubbling a little bit. It's sinking. It's sinking. It's bubbling. Ah! And I don't know if you can see that, but some marshmallows just popped up. So cute. All right. All right, so stir it well, and I hope you really enjoyed making your first batch of hot cocoa bombs with me. Stay tuned for next week when we make some superhero magnets.